Hello, welcome to the Examiner's coverage of the 2020 Cork Premier Intermediate Hurling Championship in association with Coop Superstores. We are live this evening from Clyde Rovers GAA grounds in Mourneabbey, and what a fixture lies ahead of us here as Blarney take on Castlelyons. Well, a glorious evening for hurling here. Very hot conditions for the players to deal with. Des Curran, delighted to have Mark Landers alongside me again. Mark, two sides who got off to a great start in this group already, and on paper this is a fixture that could give us everything.
It has, the fixture has everything, to be honest about it. You have a very young team in Blarney, and they'll be looking to their 6 forwards, and we go through the team in a minute. They'll be looking at their 3 younger forwards, I suppose, inside Declan Hannon, Shane Barrett and Paddy Power in particular, to get scores for them. But then on the other side you have Castlelyons, a wily Castlelyons team is what I would call them at the moment. You know, you have a 3-time, I suppose, county senior medalist full-back in Colin Barry, then you have Niall O'Leary and you have Colin Spillane, and you have another couple of Spillanes involved in the team as well, in Anthony and Michael. So it's a real cracker of a game here, and I'd have to say it's going to be played in splendid conditions, because the sun is roasting actually here this evening. Ground is in great order, and we actually remarked before we came on air how good the field was. So, you know, it has the makings of a fantastic game this evening, Des.
Yeah, and credit to everyone involved in Clyde Rovers. This pitch, as we said, in immaculate condition, and thanks for all their help in helping us get this game broadcast this evening. The team news then, let's start with Blarney. A massive blow. Player manager Paul Leary, he's out with an ankle injury. The eyes are drawn straight away in this team, though, to Mark Coleman. He wore 11 last week, but played in what many consider his best position, left half back. He's wearing 9 today. We'll wait and see what the Blarney plan is. And you mentioned that forward line that includes these young 20-year-olds, such a great reputation at underage level through Christians with the Harty and onto Cork underage teams. Shane Barrett, Paddy Power and Decky Hannon. Yeah,
I mean, like, there's a very solid look to the Blarney team. I think in particular, I suppose, maybe Jordan will come across as one of the elder statesmen at the moment. But Peter Philpott, the joint captain there, centre back, he's a guy who's come up through the development squads with Cork, and obviously the three aforementioned players. But I mean, a big decision, I suppose, for Blarney this evening is, are they going to allow Colin Spillane the freedom of the park, which he got against the Rockies' second team last week in Lisgool, where he started corner forward and he ended up going out the field and playing a Lone Ranger game. So I think we'll have to wait and see how that'll develop, Des.
On Castlelyons, the big news there was a doubt surrounding Colin Barry. But maybe we'll come back to that Castlelyons team in a moment as we got the national anthem. Let's rattle through that Castlelyons team then. The doubt surrounding Colin Barry is eased, a shoulder problem. He starts, that's big news, positive news for Castlelyons. Niall O'Leary, big presence at 6. And Colin Spillane, great to see him back, hopefully all those injuries behind him. 8 shots apparently last week, he scored 1-7. Not bad for a defender, though in truth he could play anywhere.
Yeah, but it's fantastic to see that Colin is back playing, and that is the big news, I suppose, from a Castlelyons perspective. He spent 12 months on the sideline, and he obviously, like any player, wants to get out on the field of play, because that's where you're at your best and that's where you enjoy it. And I suppose a lot of the responsibility today, Des, if Castlelyons are to win, is Colin Spillane, Barry Murphy, Anthony Spillane and Michael Spillane. Anthony had a spin with Cork in 2015. He's a very good player. He's actually very much on form at the moment. Barry Murphy played with the Cork under-20s for the last number of years, and you have Niall O'Leary centre back with his twin brother Jamie in corner back, and the father Jimmy O'Leary is a great farrier around the East Cork area. And then number 7 wing back Colin O'Neill, who's got parents down in Killa, James O'Neill and Una O'Connor. So really looking forward to a fantastic evening hurling here.
Alan O'Connor from Ballygarvan is our referee. We can tell you the first question we were wondering about. Mark Coleman looks like he has dropped into that left half back position for Blarney again. So be it wearing 11 last week or 9 this week, it's the left half back position for the Cork Senior All-Star. being marked by Keith O'Leary. So already there's going to be some fascinating matchups here, Mark, isn't there? And we'll wait and see which management team get it right.
In actual fact, I suppose Keith O'Leary has actually gone into wing forward. He's moved from midfield as well. So I think Castlelyons are going to be using a tactic there that they're actually going to probably mark Coleman here this evening.
Joe Jordan, big presence in that midfield for Blarney. Good ball up to Paddy Power. First chance for the youngster to shine here. Stepping one way and the other, Paddy Power bearing down on goal. And rattles that one over. A great start for Paddy Power.
A great start, and I suppose it was a goal opportunity, Des, but I suppose like most teams, they want to get a score on the board, but that was definitely an opportunity for a goal. But a great start for Blarney and a great ball in from Joe Jordan.
Now let's see the puck out strategy from Castlelyons. Jack Barry, brother of Cullum at full back. He's presented it straight to Blarney, though, who look to get on the attack again. Just a two-man inside forward line. Shane Barrett seems to have come out to the half-back line, at least to start with here for Blarney. And now Castlelyons, as a result of that, have extra men back there and a chance to work it out. Booming ball all the way down into that half-forward line. Broken down by Keith O'Leary. Race on for possession now. Ben Ahern there for Blarney, working to try and get it. A low ball, it doesn't quite come off. Blarney last year's a semi-finalist gave Father O'Neill's a really good run for it as well. See Father O'Neill's a good win against Bride Rovers last evening. Here's David Morrison. Block on that, but now some of the Spillans in there. Mark Coleman rising, couldn't get it into his hand though. Bursting out with it is David Walsh, but he can't get very far. Picked up by Keith O'Leary again. Bright and breezy, but wide.
Yeah, and David Walsh had done very well at cornerback there for Blarney. Won a great ball, but he gave a loose clearance and Keith O'Leary came in and intercepted it. Now, it was a great strike at goals, but unfortunately just the radar was slightly off. But overall, just people may not see this in the course of the game at the moment. Blarney now have reverted to 3 on the inside line. 2 of them are inside in the square and 1 in the corner. And their half-forward line, the 3 half-forwards are in the centre-forward position. So I presume that'll be to give Paul Alesi the option to go left or right with a puck out and trying to puck the ball into space. But it's certainly, unless you can see it here on the camera, you can see that there's 3 of the Blarney half-forward line are actually in the centre-forward position. So, you know, that is certainly a tactic that's going to, I suppose, concern the Castlelyons management at this moment in time.
Yeah, we expect them to start there and then split once the ball comes in that direction. I was talking to the Castlelyons manager, Kieran McGann, yesterday. He's down below us here on the sideline. Castlelyons over on this near side. He was saying one thing they've worked on this year certainly is the tactical side of the game, to get players to be able to adapt to certain situations, whatever pops up. It's Blarney on the attack again here. And this one is gone across the face of goal and wide. A good opportunity gone a begging.
A bit disappointed, but it seems that when the ball is coming into the Blarney forwards, they seem to have the Castlelyons backs at the moment. I won't say they're in trouble because it's too early in the game. There's only 3 minutes gone, but they certainly are a bit. The Castlelyons backs are slightly apprehensive at the moment.
Leo Sexton, low ball into the half-forward line. Sharply out to meet it is David Morrison. Under pressure from Olin Hegarty, who's filling the boots of Paul O'Leary this evening. Here's a chance for a goal. That's a good save, but beaten back in again. And touch behind. Final touch deemed to be off a Castlelyons man.
Yeah, and a great opportunity and a great save by Paul Alesi and Anthony Spillane did very well. He hit the ball into the ground to try and get a bounce on it, but a great save by Paul Alesi in the Blarney goals.
Alesi coming out towards this near side, and Patrick Crowley, brother of the cornerback and joint captain Sean, real scramble for possession, and coming away with it for Castlelyons is Cullum Spillane, who sets his sights. Well, didn't put a foot wrong last week, and he's opened his account and Castlelyons' account for the day.
Well, Cullum, if he got 8 shots a goal last and he got 1-7, with his, you can say it's 9 in a row and 8 scores. Fantastic score from Cullum Spillane, centre forward.
And what an all-rounder he is. There was a chance if Colin Barry didn't pass the fitness test last night that Cullum Spillane would go back to full back today. But as it is, he's operating up the pitch again and already on the scoreboard. Stalemate. And the referee's seen enough. He brings an end to it as Owen May ends up on the ground.
Yeah, and just mentioning the referee, you know, it's very free-flowing. You know, both teams are going at it genuinely. No major involvement, no need for the referee to be getting involved at this moment in time. Game has been played in a great sporting fashion.
Oh, you could hear that one from here. And the pull from Decky Hannon. Referee lets play go on. Alan Fenton looking for space over on that far side. First out to meet it, Anthony Spillane. Good turn being marked by Sean Crowley. Checks back onto his right hand side. That one is on its way and over the bar.
He's on form, Des, Anthony Spillane. And I mentioned it in the that the word coming from Castlelyons that he is, getting back to the form that he showed in 2015. Part of that, obviously, Kieran McGann is in charge of Castlelyons. Has great knowledge, great experience, and great coach with him, John Crowley as well, formerly from SARS. But, a great coach would be well known around for getting the best out of teams.
Well, Castlelyons beaten in the 2013 decider, pipped by Youghal right at the death, and by their own admission, Mark, they've struggled since. They had young players, maybe two at the time. They had some players finishing up, and the next few years have been difficult for them. But those younger lads now are in their mid-20s, and they feel now's the time for them to step up.
Absolutely, but it is time. Like they have a lovely sprinkling player. Colm Barry has got massive experience being involved with McKilly for the last number of years, and Anthony Spillane has been involved with UCC as well. So has Jack Barry in goals.
Excellent piece of defending by Tom Carroll. And now this ball picked up by Keith O'Leary. Not much space to operate in. He's got support behind him though. And this one arrowed down into the corner and straight away. Davy Morrison gets turned. The shout is to take on his man. Loses out this time though. Oh, good shoulder. As Olin Hegarty is sent out over the line by Colm Spillane.
Yes, great tackling there, and when you have forwards that'll tackle like that, that's fantastic to see it. The whole team gets a bounce from it, and the Castlelyons management will be delighted with that. And a quick puck out there.
Oh, Keith O'Leary saw the chance to take it quick, and Colm Spillane, what about that?
Has knocked another one over. I suppose you'd be what Kieran Kingston is he looking in tonight to see, is he looking for a centre forward? Is Shemi Hannity going to be in trouble after this evening and after last week's performance by Colm Spillane as well?
It's just great to see him out there. He's had an awful time with injuries, Mark.
He has had an awful lot of injuries down through his career, and it's just fantastic to see him playing.
Blarney got the first point of the game, but it's Castlelyons who found their groove since then. Pull across from David Walsh, penalised.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky there now because he actually won the ball, Des, which I thought was I thought it was fair enough. I mean, what's the player expected to do? Yes, there's going to be a clash of hurleys because the Castlelyons player had went to pick up the ball, but he pulled through and actually won the ball. So, I think some referees will give us some warrant.
Michael Spillane, and all the Spillanes in that forward line on the score sheet now. That's one for Michael, one for Anthony, and a couple for Colm.
Yeah, and like Castlelyons have taken over the game at this moment of time, and the Blarney half forward line can't win any ball. Mark Coleman isn't on the ball either. He isn't involved at all, and I mean it's something that I suppose the Blarney management will have to consider. What can they do? Because they can't win a puck out. Soaring
to pluck that one out of the sky is Leo Sexton, and another dangerous ball down towards that informed forward line. Seemed to be a flick of the hurley out from David Walsh again, which the Castlelyons line weren't happy with. And now an opportunity for Mark Coleman to stretch his legs, hunted back though by Barry Murphy.
Yeah, great. I think Barry Murphy had done extremely well, and Owen May had followed and tracked Mark Coleman back as well. Great to see Coleman getting on the ball now and bringing the fight to Castlelyons, because he needs to be doing that as an inter-county player. He needs to be leading his team, and I suppose what we've seen over the last number of weekends is that all the inter-county players are playing to form. But this is an important point. It's an important free right now for Blarney that Mark Coleman would knock it over the bar for them.
Yeah, 5 points last week against Inniscarra. Back-to-back Fitzgibbon Cup winner with UCC, 2017 All-Star, a couple of Munster senior medals back home for Mark Coleman as well. Yeah, a little bit of a breeze. Yeah. Good looking strike, but right and wide.
It's gone through, and that's I suppose a little bit of a tonic and a shot in the air from Castlelyons there, because Mark Coleman would be expected to put it over. But look, it's I suppose it's early days yet as well. There's only 9 minutes gone, but certainly at this moment in time, Castlelyons have the best of it. Again, a bit of a suspicious one there, Des, I'd have to say. I think the centre forward, Patrick Crowley, was starting to run out of ideas, and he happened to run into the Castlelyons player there. And don't want to be too critical of the referee now, but there's a couple of frees there now at this moment in time that, they could have gone, the last 3 frees could have gone either way.
First meeting of these two in the championship since 2012, when Blarney got the better of Castlelyons in the first round, 115 to 12 points. But Blarney, a lot of people tagging them as favourites now after that big win against Inniscarra, and they've been a coming side. They had a great run last year, which, not that it came out of nowhere, but the previous years hadn't gone so well.
Yeah, and they had a great form line last year because they played against Father O'Neill's last year and in the county semi-final, and they were 10 points down at half time, and if the game went on for another 5 minutes, I think Blarney would have cut Father O'Neill's on that occasion.
Short puck out again, and all the time in the world here for Tom Carroll. Decided not to advance with it. Lovely take as it's taken now down by Keith O'Leary. And Keith O'Leary takes his point. He's made a very promising start, Keith O'Leary.
Yeah, and Castlelyons have taken the challenge, I suppose, to Mark Coleman, and I don't want to be isolating Mark, I don't know, but they've pinpointed Keith to actually go in and Mark Coleman, and he's on a lot of ball, and he's got a fantastic score there for him.
Now Blarney need to get going. Joe Jordan bundled over, and here's an opportunity for Castlelyons. Anthony Spillane bearing down on goal. Could he go all the way here? Hallisey makes the save. A goal scoring opportunity. And Blarney struggling to clear their lines though. David Walsh under pressure again, and Spillane gets on the ball. Anthony Spillane and over the bar for his second, and that extends the Castlelyons lead out to 6 points to 2.
Yeah, but the big thing in that passage of play is that the goal opportunity came. Anthony Spillane took it on, which is what you want from any forward, to take on the ball. Now he's a bit fortunate now, because if you look at it closely, he actually swung back to Hurley in advance of striking for it. But a great save again by Paul Hallisey. That's twice now he's been called into action from Anthony Spillane and stopped him. But he got the point afterwards, which, I suppose the team, when you have a situation on a one-on-one with the keeper, you're expecting a goal, and when you don't get it, you're disappointed. But the actual ball was funneled back, and Anthony Spillane converted the opportunity. So, a goal opportunity may be gone a begging, but still a score for Castlelyons to keep the scoreboard ticking over. Yeah,
heading towards 12 minutes played in beautiful sunny conditions here in Mourneabbey, and it's Castlelyons in the ascendancy. Can Blarney get going over the head of Hannon? Barrett can't get on it either. Two young players, but two vital players in this Blarney cause this year. Here's an opportunity from a long way out for Alan Fenton.
Yeah, it's all Castlelyons, and again it's coming back to the fact that Blarney cannot win a ball from their own puck out at this moment in time, and they have to start shoving up Mark Coleman or shoving out to the middle of the field to get onto the breaking ball, or else they need to change up their puck out strategy, because the ball is coming straight down the field from every puck out.
And this is worrying news for Blarney as well. Decky Hannon, their under-17 All-Ireland winner of 3 years ago, down feeling, it looks like either a hamstring or his right knee.
And some scores are actually coming in from across the county at the moment in the Premier Intermediate Hurling Championship. You have had a 2-13, Carrigaline 1-13. In the Senior A Hurling Championship, after 38 minutes, you have Mallow 15 points, Charleville 13 points. That would be a big surprise at the moment. And in the Senior A Hurling Championship at half time, it's Bandon 10 from I8. A very close game there.
And Carrigaline with impressive opening victories against Youghal and Coursey Rovers respectively. Other two teams in this group, Inniscarra and Blackrock, they don't face each other until tomorrow. They've got a bit of catching up to do after pretty comprehensive opening defeats at the hands of these two. Now Paul Hallisey changes it up this time, goes right down the middle, hoping they can get a break of a ball in that half-forward line. Paddy Power, who got the first score of the game, was the man coming looking for it. Worked away by Alan McAvoy out towards that right-hand side. Switch of play into the corner towards Barrett. Good searching ball that from Joe Jordan, or Dr. Joe Jordan we should say. This from an almost impossible angle is over the bar. Shane Barrett, he's hardly been on the ball, but showing exactly what he can do there.
A fantastic score, and both himself and Paddy Power, when they got quick ball early in the game, they were out first in their man, good control, turned their man, took him on, and scored a great score there from Shane Barrett, and a score that Blarney really needed.
And all coming from a lovely angle ball, a change of the direction of play from Joe Jordan. Blarney's number 8, who's been around for a long, long time. Blarney, one of only 3 Cork clubs to win the All-Ireland Intermediate. That was back in 2009. Kanturk winning it in the last few years as well. That's down towards Barrett again. Excellent defending from Tom Carlow, at least it seems so, but referee saw enough in that to suggest there was a push or a pull, and a free on the way for Blarney.
Yeah, it's, again, a 50-50 decision that has gone in Blarney's way, particularly from in a free situation. Tom Carlow done enough, to be honest, that he went up, blocked the ball down. Maybe he did hold Declan Hannon down in getting up there, But I suppose at the end of the day, the referee's in charge here, and now we can kind of know, if you're in the Castlelyons management, you'll be saying to your players, listen, we can't afford to be doing anything that gives the opportunity to blow for a free.
And the free converted, a 4th point of the evening for Blarney. Reduces the gap to 3. And an early change on the Castlelyons side here. It's Leon Ducey coming in. And he is replacing Alan Fenton.
Yeah, there's a bit of a blow now for Castlelyons so early in the game. I said we will be having a water break fairly soon, Des, and both teams will probably want to get to the water break just to have a chat with their players.
Short puck out, Jack Barry to Colin Barry. Sends a monstrous ball in towards that full forward line. Blarney have the numbers, Castlelyons still working. Leon Ducey looking to get into it straight away. But Blarney can bring it away. Nice ball popped into Patrick Crowley. Looking to hand pass their way out. Mark Coleman. Head up. Eyes on the swivel. And then changing it right over to that right half forward position. And here's a chance for Barrett again. He's got on it this time. Jamie O'Leary trying to go with him. Barrett, could he go all the way here? He's popped another one over.
Popped another one. He's a massive threat inside at this moment in time. Enough ball needs to go into him. That's the clear thing now here. That, from the likes of Joe Jordan, Philip, Peter Philpott, and Mark Coleman to deliver good ball in Des as fast as possible. And I suppose there is a slight hill coming down the field here that is slightly going to be favouring Castlelyons in the first half. But it's a very, very intense game at the moment. But Castlelyons have had the best of it in the first, I suppose, 10 or 11 minutes of the game, and Blarney have come back into it there, and have got a couple of scores.
Our scoreboard is on the fritz this evening. I believe it's 7 points to 5 to Castlelyons.
Yeah.
So 2-point advantage. They had a real purple patch after Blarney. It started well, but the last few minutes for Blarney have been better. Yeah,
it has been excellent for Blarney now, and a lot of it is that the half back line and Joe Jordan in the middle of the field has started to get on top. But bear in mind, I suppose, in the course of the first 15 minutes, we've heard that the goalkeeper Paul Hennessy for Blarney has stopped 2 point blank scoring chances from Anthony Spillane. And I suppose the funny thing is, if you were Castlelyons, you probably, for the amount of play that they've had, you probably expect to be 3 or 4 points up at this stage.
Yeah, a couple of swings of momentum in this game already. Yeah, Castlelyons taking the opportunity just away to our left-hand side to gather them in during this water break. Maybe just an idea of what they can do against Barrett in particular in that defence.
Yeah, and that is a part of it. For any ball that is going in, coming from the Blarney half-back line midfield, it is being angled into Shane Barrett inside. And in fairness to him, he's delivering, which is the important thing. And it probably was, the last one may have been a goal chance. I suppose if you had the likes of, we'll say, a Ben O'Connor or a Joe Dean in those situations, I think they probably would have taken it on. But it actually is the whole momentum of the game to get a score on the board, which is important. And I think it probably was the right decision in the end. Keep the scoreboard ticking over. Whatever bit of an advantages here is probably going from left to right as we see it on the camera, and I suppose it's from a Blarney perspective, it's a case of hanging in there until half time and making sure that the Castlelyons are 6 or 7 points up.
Yeah, we've just about to hit 18 minutes on the clock, so 12 to go, plus whatever's added on for the water break and a few injuries as well. Just listening to that huddle for Castlelyons, it was Niall O'Leary, interestingly, who was barking out the instructions. Another who's had senior county success with Emma Kelly, part of the Cork set up, of course, as well. Niall O'Leary, big presence for Castlelyons.
And one significant change now that has actually happened.
Oh, here's an opportunity. Colm Spillane is in again. Oh, what a goal! Rifled it low, and for once there was no chance for Paul Hennessy.
Yeah, and again, this comes back to the water break situation. Des, how do teams actually deal with the water break? But the funny thing, what has happened is that Blarney had withdrawn 12 of their players back inside their own 65, and now you end up with Colm Spillane actually getting through the defence for a goal. So I suppose from a Blarney's perspective, they'll be very, very disappointed with having that many people back inside their own 65 to concede a goal straight after the quarter break. And
looking at the scores he's taken so far, Colm Spillane is 1-2, I think he has now. You mentioned Kieran Kingston, maybe in jest a little bit earlier, but what a display he's given Colm Spillane at the other end. Here's an opportunity for Blarney. Castlelyons asking for steps against Paddy Power.
Yeah, and he probably did. He did overcarry it, Des. But I mean, he was off balance as well when the ball was slipped on by Decky Hannon full forward.
If they can get and power on it in that inside forward line, so quick, so elusive, and 2 really good finishers. Leon Ducey. And now Anthony Spillane gets turned onto his right hand side again, leaving his marker in his wake. And the hook coming in, just in the act of striking. This from Decky Hannon. And Colm Spillane wants another score. He gets another score, Colm Spillane. And attention will be needed now for Anthony Spillane, who took one right down on the hand, it seemed.
Yeah, it seemed to be. He was just in the act of striking, and it seemed that the Blarney hurley came in. There was nothing malicious in it, absolutely not, Des. It was just one of those things when he went to strike the ball, he didn't strike it. But, you know, I suppose it is like everything. You can't keep everybody happy in this situation. I think the Castlelyons mentors are very animated, disappointed with it. But, look, there's a point going up on the board, and they're very much well on top at this moment in time. And maybe Blarney should be considering putting Mark Coleman in centre back and trying to get on top of Colm Spillane.
Well, in Group 1, it looks like Carrickline are turning things around. 55 minutes gone from trailing by a goal to Aghada. They now lead 2-17 to 2-14.
Yeah, Blarney have made a lot of changes to their team now. Peter Fulper has gone back full back. Mark Coleman has actually gone in centre back, and Sean Crowley, the joint, has gone out wing back.
Well, will that help them find their rhythm? Here's Paddy Power out towards Hannon, had to wait for it. Big, strong 20-year-old, and caught for steps again.
Yeah, well, it's consistent from the referee. He jinked one way, jinked the other way, and then he took it on, and he was on 4 or 5 steps. Good decision from the referee.
1-8 to 5 points in favour of Castlelyons. Here's Anthony Spillane again. The shout is to take him on. Peter Philpott, his marker. Philpott stands up to the challenge this time, but then bundles Spillane over.
Yeah, and he had the hard work done because he had actually taken the ball off of Anthony Spillane at that stage. But I suppose his enthusiasm to get to it, he probably pushed over Anthony Spillane. You know, sometimes those decisions will go for you and go against you, but in the overall context, it probably was a free-in.
Colm Spillane, Anthony Spillane causing real problems for Blarney here. It's interesting, the positioning of Colm Spillane probably has a lot to do with the fact that you have someone as good as Colm Barry to play full-back and Niall O'Leary to play centre-half-back.
Yeah, and that has a lot to do with it. You're trying to juggle your best players and trying to get the most out of your team. And like with Colm and Niall probably couldn't play in any other positions, I would suspect. But Colm Spillane has been outstanding at centre-forward again for Castlelyons this evening.
Michael Spillane converting his second free of the evening. 1-9 to 5 points now. 7-point lead for Castlelyons against the side that for many are the favourites to win this grade this year, Blarney. They've a job on their hands here. David Morrison will leave it to Anthony Spillane. Really looking to enjoy himself out there. All of the time in the world here for Leon Ducey, and he takes full advantage of it.
Right now the Blarney backs are absolutely in 6s and 7s at this moment in time. Joe Jordan has gone from midfield back to wing back, so they've nearly moved every player in the Blarney defence is in a different position at this moment in time from what they started at. Now the thing for Blarney is that they have to hang in here now until half time, get to half time, you know, get your team composed again to get back into it. But you know, Castlelyons are really on the ascendancy, and if they end up getting enough ball into Anthony Spillane, there's more goals inside her.
Leo Sexton needs a little bit of help here as he's bottled up a Blarney man either side of him. Sensibly back to the goalkeeper, and Jack Barry takes every last second out of that one. Drops it right down below us here where Coleman will climb. Had it in his grasp and then spilled it. Now trying to win it back again, but Keith O'Leary has done well when he's been in and around Mark Coleman in the game so far. And Castlelyons come again. Leo Sexton pops the hand pass to Barry Murphy. Barry Murphy hit hard, and Castlelyons with another free.
Yeah, you know, just things aren't going that I suppose that right for Blarney at this moment in time. You know, they kind of no complaints there. You know, probably a loose arm from Mark Coleman there to foul Barry Murphy, but I suppose, you know, Niall O'Leary has come into the game, and Tom Carroll has come into the game solid for Castlelyons at the back, and then up front, obviously, you know, the two Spillanes in particular, Anthony and Colm, are really taking the game by the scruff of the neck.
Well, with Shane Barrett in limited possession, showing what he can do at the other end. Obviously, the defending starts from the front for Castlelyons to make sure that ball doesn't arrive in with him. And they've certainly been working hard in their own half-forward line, in and around that midfield area to prevent that ball getting in there.
And we have seen in general the Castlelyons forwards are tackling every one of the Blarney backs. But I don't know, I can't impress. Like you have all your 6 defenders are in a different position than when they started. That can't be great from a confidence point of view. That sends out a worrying signal, I think, for an awful lot of the Blarney players. And you know, I suppose, you know, at this moment in time, what they, and I said it, you know, at the quarter break, like they don't need to, you know, be 7 or 8 points down at half time. But at the moment, Castlelyons are usually on the ascendancy. And I suppose this break for the injury now is Castlelyons wouldn't want it either, because they have all the momentum going with them at the moment. But if they got another goal, you know, they would be in a very, very good position at half time.
1-7 of the 1-10 for Castlelyons so far, coming from the Spillans. 1-3 for Cullum, 2 points for Anthony and 2 frees for Michael.
It's a healthy contribution from the Spillane family. Their father Mick played for years with them, played in the county final in 1998 in the intermediate against Killa, and had a storming game at full forward.
It's Michael Spillane, more or less on halfway, but way over on this right hand side. And that one just drifting to the right and wide. We have a blood substitution as well. Barry Murphy has gone off, and Ronan O'Regan is the man who's come on.
Yeah, Blarney just need to start winning their own puck outs, Des, to get back into the game and get enough ball into Shane Barrett at full forward. I think he's a handful if he can get a good quality ball in first time. Alan
McAvoy got the puck out there from Paul Hallisey, worked it to Joe Jordan, but once it comes in there, it's picked up and cleared by Leo Sexton, who's been prominent in that half-back line for Castlelyons. Here's Anthony Spillane, who's had a terrific first half, taking on Olin Hegarty. You just wonder as well, Olin Hegarty, young player coming in at full-back, but you know, Paul O'Leary is the player manager, he's the full-back, just in terms of organisation alone back there. And he's
the player manager as well, and he will demand an awful lot more from his team when he's actually on the field of play. He will be gutted and bitterly disappointed that he's not out there on the field contributing some part to his team at this moment in time. But look, he is injured, and you just have to get on with it and do what he's best on the sideline.
Castlelyons coming again. Here's Colm Spillane off his left-hand side, might not have enough to carry. And Paul Hallisey will see it out over the line and wide.
But a great little touch from Mark Coleman there. He got in the hook on Colm Spillane, and that is the reason why the ball actually fell short.
And that's the positioning now. Mark Coleman in a centre half back to keep tabs on Colm Spillane. We've got to find a way to wrest control of this game back again. The blood substitution reverse. So Barry Murphy back on. And Ronan O'Regan back over to the sideline underneath us. Paul Hallisey coming out towards Sean Crowley. Doesn't hit him though. Keith O'Leary might work out yet for David Morrison. Under pressure from Peter Philpott though. Philpott trying to rise the ball, trying to find a way out here. And it's not easy for Peter Philpott, needs some support.
No, but that's great. That's great from the forwards, from the Castlelyons forwards. And look at this, like Mike Spillane is chasing Mark Coleman around. I mean, Castlelyons are really, really up for this game, and they're playing accordingly.
Well, the incentive is there for these to win today, and you assume control of this group. Next round of fixtures, the final game for each in the group doesn't come for another 3 weeks. So if you win it, you have 3 weeks to reflect on all the positives that result brings. If you lose this game, it's going to be a long 3 weeks till you get back in action again. Might be an opportunity here for Keith Costello, who's not really been in the game so far. Castlelyons back there, and Colm Barry works it away. Leon Ducey sends it in towards that full forward line again. Spill though this time. David Morrison couldn't hold on to it.
Blarney need to get a score with this attack days now for themselves.
Interesting looking efforts. But that one to the right and wide from Patrick Crowley.
Just a little bit nervy. You know, this is championship days, and you know you could be playing all the practice matches you like and playing well in training, but when you go out on the day of championship, that's the day you really need to prove yourself.
1-10 Castlelyons, 5 points for Blarney. We're going to need a big second half. We've about a minute of normal time remaining in this first half. Time to be added on, of course, for the water break and a few injuries. Decky Hannon gets the hand pass away. Supported by Alan McAvoy. And McAvoy drops it in. Dangerous looking ball. Watched all the way by Jack Barry. Never took his eye off it, and now puts as much as he can behind that one. Sends it right down into the corner. Brilliant take from Leon Ducey. It's away from the first man. Joe Jordan got back to get his hurl in. Blarney turn it over and now look to go themselves. Patrick Crowley drills it low towards Shane Barrett. Barrett trying to spin his man. Jamie O'Leary, touch tight, making sure Barrett can't get it up, can't get turned.
Yeah, we're getting into the last couple of minutes now, Des, before half time, and it's critical from a Blarney perspective they don't concede any more scores. Like we've seen in a lot of games over the last 2 weekends that, particularly if you look at Aaron Zone and you look at, that game today, they were 8 points down, they came back and they won by 2. You look at Newtown Shandon, were 8 points down last week again and came back and won by 3. So the game hasn't gone from Blarney in any shape or fashion. It's just that they just need to get back and get a bit of composure, get a couple of their top players on the ball as fast as possible and convert some scores.
Yeah, Castlelyons with the last 4 points of the game though. Blarney could do with a settling score or two just to reduce the deficit as we head in towards half-time. Good run from Patrick Crowley. Drops it in. Didn't hit any of his 2-man inside forward line that time though.
No, and the last 3 balls that have gone in there, they haven't got actually anything from them. One from the keeper, one wide and one short to a Castlelyons. Like they're getting very little return for the possession that they have.
Leo Sexton, he's had an excellent first half. Couldn't complement it with a score there though. Ran 40 yards, chased by Decky Hannon.
Yeah, and got a great flick as well, the same as what Mark Coleman did a while ago. But look, Blarney could do with a goal before half-time.
Raking ball from Coleman. Her lost by Keith Costello, the Blarney sideline over on that far side. Not happy, felt it was ripped out of his hand.
I think he got a bit of help from Tom Callan that one nowadays, to be fair.
Colm Spillane. Oh, brilliant early ball. And it's 2-on-1 for a moment in there. And onto the stick from David Morrison. Bottled up though. Can he get that ball out of there? Well, 3 Blarney players around him, suffocating him, swarming all around him. And Blarney can work it away with Joe Jordan. Tom Carroll keeps his composure under pressure.
Another player that has been involved with McKilly for the last number of years as well, is getting massive experience.
Joe Jordan, part of the 08 county win, the 09 All-Ireland win. Drops a dangerous looking ball in and there is a flick in it. It just took a bit of the sting out of the ball though, and Jack Barry easy for the Castlelyons goalkeeper in the end.
It's a massive clearance from Leo Sexton in the half-back line there now.
Blarney try and break it. David Walsh managed to pick it up and then jumped on. Paul Hallisey, the goalkeeper, was running out towards the half-back position, contemplating a quick free. We've 2 men down at the other end of the pitch. Colin Barry is one of them and he's still on his knee down there. Now, we had a shoulder problem coming into this.
Yeah,
they'll be hoping that's not the issue.
Correct.
Raising its head again.
A high ball that came into the square. Both the full forward and Colin Barry went to challenge for the ball. Both of them collided. There was nothing in it. The ball broke to Jack Barry and he cleared it to Leo Sexton. He had a powerful clearance down here. Both teams are going at it hammers and tongs here this evening, and you can see a good few of the players are down in their hunkers. We have
the break in play. We'll bring you some full times from the Senior A Hurling Championship. Charleville turned it around, 22 points to 116 against Mallow. Full time also between Carrigaline and Ahada, 221 to 215 in Carrigaline's favour. And Ballincollig have beaten Valley Rovers 216 to 15 points.
There's 2 of those games have been turned around this from being losing with 20 minutes to go. So, there's a lot of hope yet for Blarney. Just need to get into the game.
Monstrous delivery from Mark Coleman. Colin Barry trying to bat it away. Paddy Power pulling on a full time. First time out, didn't make contact though. Still Paddy Power being forced out the pitch. And Castlelyons swarming in defence. That's excellent work again. Never allowed Ben O'Hearn to get his shot away. Blarney have it back once more though, a lovely touch. And now Owen May urged to have a look. Oh, he's presented it straight to Joe Jordan. Bit of scrappy in possession from both sides there in the last few moments, and that one completely given away as well.
Yeah, when he had 3 or 4 of his own teammates were right in front of him, but it just shows you the psychological pressure that the team are under at the moment. When you're under that type of pressure, you will make some mistakes. It's very easy for us up here to see all those things.
Oh, that's outstanding from Anthony Spillane.
Yeah, for a ball that Joe was well in control of, giving away Tom Carroll cornerback down to Anthony Spillane, and a good score for Castlelyons before half-time.
Picked it up on the sideline, 3 men around him. Superb from Anthony Spillane. And this one from way out is one back for Blarney.
Yeah, fantastic score from Patrick Crowley. Great ball from Paul Hallisey in the goals. Put it straight into his hand.
And after a run of 5 Castlelyons points on the bounce, Blarney finally stemmed the tide. 6 points Blarney, 111 Castlelyons. Here's the impressive Leo Sexton. Dabs it inside. Niall O'Leary, never one to panic. Oh, that's charged down from Jamie O'Leary though, and here's an opportunity. Shane Barrett, quick and powerful. Jamie O'Leary gets back goal side as Shane Barrett takes his point.
I was going to say that the Castlelyons defenders were very composed back there, but they actually got caught out in their composure, and a great score from Shane Barrett. I would have loved to have seen Shane putting down the shoulder and keep going, Des, because I actually thought he had Keith O'Leary in trouble there. And I think Blarney, though they got the point, it would have been a great goal to get before half time.
Well, a first half that lasted almost 35 minutes, and Castlelyons retiring at the break in a very good position here. 1-11 to 7 points they lead. And once again, we spoke about Colm Spillane ahead of the game and his positioning, and it was mentioned speaking to the Castlelyons manager yesterday. I asked him about that positioning of Colm Spillane, and he did say it's because, look, we've got Colm Barry to play fullback, we've got Niall O'Leary to play at centre half back, we've got two midfielders who can play as wing backs or versatile operators, so we can afford to put Colm Spillane up there, and he was outstanding in that first half along with Anthony. Yeah,
and he's holding his form from last week. Des, where he got 1-7 from play against Blackrock second team. He has been outstanding, to be honest with it, but he's I suppose his influence on the game has been nullified somewhat. The fact that Matt Coleman has gone in centre back, that has been a big help for Blarney. But I suppose in the overall context of things, Castlelyons are very strong straight down the middle. Colm Barry full back, Niall O'Leary centre back, quality hurler there. In the middle of the field, Owen May is playing well, even though Keith Leary has gone in wing forward. He's playing in a withdrawn kind of midfield position, and then Colm Spillane full centre forward and Anthony full. They really have a good spine in their team. And as I mentioned earlier on, I think Blarney have made a lot of changes to their 6 defenders in particular. But for them to get back into this game, they really need to get a lot of composure back into their game.
Does that suggest that Blarney got it tactically wrong at the outset?
I suppose in some respects, you can do all the analysis beforehand of what the opposition are going to do, but I still think you need to put your best players in your best positions. I mean, Joe Jordan has played centre back an awful lot. I was surprised to see him name midfield. I suppose Matt Coleman is an outstanding wing back for Cork, I suppose, at senior inter-county level. But I'd love to see him pushing forward into the midfield position, because I think if Blarney are to win this game today, they'll need to get get forward with the ball. I think that their forwards at the moment are starved for ball, and I think Shane Barrett as full forward has shown enough in the first half an hour here that if he got enough quality ball, he can do damage.
There is a 7-point gap for them to try and overturn, and as you said, there have been glimpses from Blarney, but not enough.
Not enough, and you'll all have to see in the first half that Anthony Spillane has had 2 goal chances that have been fantastically safe from Paul Hallisey as well in the Blarney goals. I think the Castlelyons forwards are fighting just slightly that bit harder. They're putting pressure on the Blarney backs, and the ball isn't coming out easy, Des, either. So I think critically for Blarney is they really need to up their work rate all over the field, and they need to start to deliver that ball into the full forward line, into Shane Barrett. I suppose Mark Coleman ultimately will have to stay centre back, I think, to try and curb the influence of Colm Spillane, and that robs you of a player a go for. But Mark Coleman, we're expecting that out of Mark, and if you're a Blarney supporter looking in tonight, you are expecting Mark Coleman will take the game to Castlelyons. It is a massive game for both Colm and Mark this evening for their own clubs. And again, this is the beauty, I suppose, of the club championship at this moment in time, is that all the clubs are getting access to their inter-county players, and I think all clubs are actually blossoming from the fact that their inter-county fellas are training with them all the time.
For all the technical skills that we see out there in such a technical game, the basics that the managers and the management look for is work rate and effort, and Castlelyons have certainly delivered that in terms of how they've stifled the Blarney ball coming out from their back line, and just their half back line, the work rate there as well.
Yeah, I mean, Leo Sexton I think is very, very impressive as well, wing back. Colm Spillane or Colm Barry full back is he's a man at the edge of the square. He's 3 senior county medals, 1 for Mickey. I mean, that's a fantastic 2 fantastic players along with Niall O'Leary. But I suppose in the overall context, I think they're really taking the fight to Blarney. They're actually driving into them physically, and they look to be their strength and conditioning looks to be slightly better than Blarney's. And I mentioned it earlier on, I think that Blarney is might be younger than what you have here, and the physicality of Castlelyons is helping them.
The Colm Barry situation is an interesting one, because speaking to the manager yesterday, he was saying, look, there's 3 weeks to the next game. He's not 100%, so there's a chance we might not want to risk him. But this was a big game today. This was a chance to lay down a marker against the favourites in Blarney.
I mean, Blarney are the favourites to win the championship, and if I was in the Castlelyons camp, I would be trying to have the first of it at this moment in time, and you want to put your best players forward, and the fact that they have a break to the next round, if a fella does get injured, he has the opportunity to get that injury corrected.
Right, we'll take a quick break. Back with you for the second half in just a few minutes. Welcome back. Half time in Mourneabbey, and a very good opening half for Castlelyons. They lead Blarney by 111 to 7 points in this Cork Premier Intermediate Hurling Championship. Both sides off to flying starts last week with big wins. Blarney against their local rivals Inniscarra won by 14 points. And then Castlelyons put up a big score against the Blackrock second string, 320, 111 in that first half. And the breeze seems to be going, as we're standing anyway, Mark, from right to left as we're looking at it, and that will favour Castlelyons in the second half. Yeah, the
breeze is certainly helping Castlelyons in the second half, but if there is a slight fall in the field, it's probably helping Blarney. But I suppose, it's going to be a fierce testament to Paul O'Leary now to lift his troops from where they are at this moment in time, because they're 7 points down. But 7 points is nothing in hurling days, and we've seen it in a good number of the games this weekend and last weekend, where the likes of Newtown, the likes of Ernzone have come from 8 points down in games, and even last week I suppose Newtown came from 7 points or 8 points down with 15 minutes to go. So it's all about momentum now, and it's all about composure, and it's all about, the likes of Joe Jordan, Mark Coleman and Peter Philpott getting on ball and driving that Blarney defence, not conceding any more scores to the Castlelyons forward line, because the two Spillans have been outstanding for Castlelyons. And then up front, I suppose, the half-back line of Leo Sexton and, Niall O'Leary has been outstanding as well, along with Colm O'Neill as well. The three of them have been really, really solid in the Castlelyons half-back line. So I suppose from that perspective, the Blarney half-forward line need to start winning those puckouts. And you can see that they have a strategy, because their three half-forwards are pulling into the centre-forward position. But it isn't working for them, Des, and I suppose, and once they go back to basics, but they need to start to get to win their own puckouts. That is critical. And then in the general play of things, they need a good supply of ball into Shane Parrott and Paddy Power.
Castlelyons, a club with a great history. They'd 10-11 years senior championship hurling before going back down to the intermediate grade in 09, and they've been battling to get up ever since. We mentioned they reached a final against Youghal, but just haven't been achieving since then. But based on that first half performance, and looking at the championship overall, we've seen a few teams now. We saw Ballinhassig Valley Rovers last week. Castlelyons, you've got to put them in the hunt, don't you? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're playing really, really composed hurling tonight. Their touch is good. Their composure is excellent on the ball as well. But I know I'm repeating myself here, but when you have the likes of Colin Barris and fullback Niall O'Leary, they're two fantastic hurlers with massive experience. And Tom Carroll has been involved with McKilly as well for the last number of years. So you've three defenders there that would make any team. Like you have two of them playing senior. Shrill blast of the whistle from Alan O'Connor, and we're off and running in this second half. Massive 30 minutes plus ahead now for Blarney. as they look to overturn a 111 to 7 points half-time deficit, but on the defensive straight away here. And numbers inside for Castlelyons, worked on first time. Philpott got an important touch to make sure there was no goal chance ultimately for Castlelyons. But they're almost in straight from the throw-in. That would have been a hammer blow for Blarney. Colin Spillane has picked one up and off his left-hand side, pops it over to make sure they leave with something. Might have had a goal, but do leave with a point.
Yeah, but great pressure inside by David Morrison from Castlelyons. Joe Jordan had the ball, and Costello followed him out and took the ball off of him, and Colin Spillane broke onto the breaking ball and over the bar. Great start for Castlelyons in the second half.
That's a 1-4 by my count now for Cullum Lions. 1-7 last week. Chasing a similar tally again. The impressive Leo Sexton pulls on it first time.
Yeah, you know when things are going bad for you, when your goalkeeper's striking out the ball and he busts the hurling in two, and he's just after firing it back into the net in disgust. He probably has it a long time, and it's probably his favourite hurling. But as any goalkeeper is watching tonight, when your puck out hurling goes, there's a sense of frustration. That's
what Paul Hallisey is feeling right now. Lovely sideline cut. Up in the air for everyone to contest. Here's an opportunity for Leon Ducey, who's done well since he's come in.
Yeah, at this moment in time, Des, and I know I don't want to be calling it early, but I mean, Castlelyons are so dominant all over the field, it's frightening. Blarney are the favourites to win this grade this year. And at this moment in time, I think maybe the weight of expectation is getting to them.
Barra O'Connell has come on, incidentally unknowns to us, on the Blarney team. Shane Barrett battling for possession. He's got support there with Keith Costello as well. And confusion over which way this is going to go. Referee doesn't know, linesman doesn't seem to know either. Might be whoever shouts loudest there.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of encouragement from outside the wire from Mick Spillane here this evening, and I think if Mick was certainly on the flag, I know it would be a Castlelyons line ball. But I said the referee doesn't know and the linesman doesn't know, and they're going to throw in the ball.
Yeah, fairest option. Throw it in. Cleared away by Owen May. Taken in neatly by Joe Jordan. Here's Mark Coleman, who stepped off waiting for it. Sends that one goalwards. It looked like it started outside the right-hand post, but he worked it in, Mark Coleman.
Yeah, fantastic.
Excellent score.
Yeah, fantastic score, and just exactly what they need. Ball caught from out of the air by Joe Jordan, offloaded to Mark Coleman, and a great score. Score badly needed from Blarney.
8 points Blarney, 112, an impressive Castlelyons, as Sean Crowley, the Blarney joint captain, gives a rather difficult ball to his teammate Olin Hegarty. Not a lot that Hegarty can do there, tight to that far sideline.
Yeah, but it's the pressure that's been applied by the Castlelyons forwards. They're not leaving the Blarney backs out easy. They're tackling for everything, and they've turned over the ball here now. Now it's still going to be a Blarney line ball, but it's giving the Castlelyons defence and their midfield a chance to regroup.
Line ball for Blarney, then Castlelyons. I can see contemplating another change. James Carney. Looks like he'll soon be into the action. Good connection on the sideline cut, and now the race is on. Down into the corner. Leo Sexton shadowing his man. Good ball back outside towards Decky Hannon, who really has struggled to get into this game. Starved of possession. Hunting back now against Owen May. Castlelyons very composed in possession. Ball down into the corner. Good work by Mark Coleman though. Drifting across, anticipated the pass. His ball picked up by Leo Sexton though, who'll send it back with interest. Paul Hallisey under no real pressure. Takes his time. Sends it out towards the left half forward position where the substitute Barra O'Connell is trying to get involved.
Castlelyons are playing very direct hurling. Again, great catch from Leo Sexton there. Great clearance up by Barry Murphy as well.
Coleman works it to Hannon. Good block down. And Castlelyons can look forward again. Open the pitch is the shout. Down into the corner. That's what they're looking for, to try and move this Blarney defence around. And Anthony Spillane is causing real problems here for Peter Philpott. Decision given against Spillane though.
Yeah. Bit of a tricky one there now, Des. To be fair, you want your forwards tackling your defence. It didn't look like there was much in that, but for me, no.
Hallisey down this near side. Castlelyons with the numbers back there. Colm O'Neill. Nice pass, Leon Ducey. Drives it in low. Lovely first time touch from Anthony Spillane, and here's a chance. David Morrison Back out towards Anthony Spillane again, who gets it on his hurl into his hand. Oh, it's a great save from Hallisey. Oh, what a goal that would have been. Chance is still there though. Michael Spillane can't finish. An exceptional team goal right from the corner back position all the way up. The chance for Spillane. Hallisey to the rescue again for Blarney.
Yeah, another fantastic save by Paul Hallisey in the goals. That's the third goal that he saved from Anthony Spillane, but you'll be a bit disappointed that Anthony didn't hit that into the ground.
Niall O'Leary.
Fantastic score from Niall O'Leary. Fantastic score, but just to finish off the point on Anthony Spillane there, he hit it to the goalkeeper's left-hand side. He's a left-handed hurler, and he hit it to make it easy for him. He should have went for his right-hand side, or the right-hand side of the goals.
James Carney on. It looks like it might be, is it David Morrison coming off?
David Morrison has put in a good shift for the Castlelyons forwards this evening. He may not have got on the scoreboard, but he did an awful lot of tackling. We saw him tackling back there at Mark Coleman there and putting pressure on him, and he's getting a sound round of applause from his teammates here this evening.
Yeah, a generous round of applause as Davy Morrison makes his way to the sideline, having done his bit. That change coming 6.5 minutes into this second half. Staring into the sun as that one drops in the half-back line. Leon Ducey has got on a load of balls since coming on in that first half. Lovely turn from Michael Spillane. Sets his sights and over the bar. Real economy of effort and of movement, and just a beautiful strike from Mikey Spillane.
Great score, but it was a great block by Colm O'Neill at number 7 for Castlelyons, and then Leon Ducey, the sub that came in, got it first time and lashed it in, and great work by Mike Spillane.
Well, they've not left many scores behind them this evening, Castlelyons, as that one is played forward by Patrick Crowley. Alan McAvoy, and Castlelyons turn it over, and first chance now for James Carney. It's it onto his left-hand side, half a block. And there was enough pressure there to make sure the accuracy was slightly lacking from James Carney. Quick ball taken out to Mark Coleman, and off he goes. Real elegant runner. Support on his left-hand side, challenge coming in. Well ridden though. Colin Murphy, not seen much of him so far in the game. Here's Shane Barrett, the danger man, and he's earned the free.
Yeah, good quality ball in again from Sean Crowley, and Shane Barrett won it well, but I think Jamie O'Leary actually had his hand. He was trying to control his hand with his own hand, so it was a little bit of a nudge. And the referee, to be fair, Alan O'Connor, put up his hand and given the advantage to Blarney, but it was nothing accruing.
And this should be routine, and it is straight over the bar, so it's one back for Blarney. And every score from their point of view a crucial one, and a much needed one now. $114 to 9 points in favour of Castlelyons. James Carney muscled off it this time. Blarney looking to break. Patrick Crowley. And support there from Joe Jordan. Olin Hegarty. It's hard work though for Blarney. You mentioned that incessant Castlelyons pressure. No real time for anyone from Blarney to breathe in possession.
It's a very genuine game, and both sets of players are going at it, but Castlelyons are slightly stronger, and they're like Leo Sexton is giving a powerful performance at wing back for Castlelyons.
Mark Coleman pops it back to Hallisey. Patrick Crowley, well back the pitch now. Well judged again by Leo Sexton. Lovely piece of hurling that. And then from right in the middle of the pitch. That one right and wide.
Yeah, Keith O'Leary, but a good quality strike there in the overall. And Castlelyons striking has been excellent today. The teamwork has been excellent, and the tackling has been fantastic.
This would be a statement win if they can hold on for the victory. And it's not a question of holding on for the victory, really. They're tails up and looking for more scores.
Yes, they're very well composed at this moment in time. They're winning all the 50-50 balls. Good quality strike there in from Colm O'Neill into the full forward position from his own half-back line.
Beaten away by Peter Philpott. Now worked out to Joe Jordan. Well, they'll need his experience. They'll need those young guns up front to be serviced with better possession. Sean Crowley in towards Hannon, who's in the full forward line now. But his frustrating evening continues.
Yeah, ball that, that you needed to keep in play and try and recycle the ball and try and get a score, get the scoreboard ticking over. Blarney I think have only got a point in the second half, and they just need to get a score just to get the composure back. We're getting a result in from the Senior A Hurling Championship. It's Bandon 17 points, from I 16 points.
Lovely take from Carney, who they've got on the ball since he's come on. And there might be some of the Blarney forwards down the other end who've been on for the full game who've not received that kind of service, and Carney took full advantage.
Yeah, and great for his confidence now. He's a sub in there, and great to get on the score sheet, and he'll be busting to get in for the next round to get his place on this team, on the starting 15.
Carney's done a great job. Leon Ducey, big performances coming on as well. No opportunity whatsoever for Shane Barrett there as he was buffeted and bumped, knocked off possession. Breaking ball beaten down by Olin Hegarty. Hand pass to Coleman. Colin Spillane trying to get across to put some pressure on his inter-county teammate Coleman. This would be some score if he can find it. Umpire having a good look at it, waves it left and wide.
Yeah, and the next 3 or 4 minutes now is going to determine this game, whether it's going to slip away from Blarney altogether, because there's just no service coming into the full forward line for Blarney, and Castlelyons are their half back line, and all their backs are well on top this.
I think Mark Coleman, realising his side needed a rousing score, couldn't provide it though. Leon Ducey, 2 points already, looking to get in for another score, looking for something more serious than a point here though. He went for the hand pass towards Michael Spillane. Ducey got on it again, Blarney working hard, and eventually it's cleared by Peter Philpott. Castlelyons with the numbers down here beneath us. Keith O'Leary sends it back in towards Carney, causing problems for Olin Hegarty. Hegarty has the bulk in the frame though. Carney, to his credit, not letting him out easy.
No, and but Hegarty and Peter Philpott, they are being overworked at the moment, but they're manfully standing up for themselves.
Look where Paddy Power is, back in his own half back line, just desperate to get involved in the game. One of the key scorers and the key forward options for Blarney is in their half back line. And eventually it's the long ball forced by the pressure of that Castlelyons forward line. Here's an opportunity though for the substitute. Barrow O'Connell works it on to Barrett, who flashes a one over.
Yeah, he's a classy player, Des. If service right and he got enough quality ball, he certainly would be a serious threat. But on that occasion, the ball came up. There's 8 Blarney players back within their own 65. They're losing by 7 or 8 points at this moment in time, Des. And I think they're 9 points nearly down at this stage. And for them to win and get a result out of here this evening, they have to push on. They have to take the chances, because at the moment they're 9 points down, and they don't look like they're going to, get the scores on the board. And, by playing an awful lot of players back behind the ball, I just don't see how they're going to get the scores up front.
We're going to have our water break in this second half. You have to say, for as good as Castlelyons have been going forward, 116 on the board, to hold a much vaunted Blarney side to 10 points to this point will please the management every bit as much.
Yeah, we mentioned the forwards for Blarney before the game. Declan Hannon, Shane Barrett and Paddy Power could have a big influence on proceedings here today. But what we found is that the Castlelyons defence has actually wrapped up the threat for them. And I suppose there's a huge amount of physicality in the Castlelyons team, but I'm more impressed by the Castlelyons forwards, that their work rate and their effort and their putting the hassle and the pressure on the Blarney defence is just refusing to let the Blarney defenders come out with the ball and give quality ball into the likes of Paddy Power and Shane Barrett. So I think you have to give credit to Castlelyons, and I think Blarney, I suppose, were touted and were, I suppose, favourites to win this intermediate grade this evening. But right now, Castlelyons, I think, have taken the challenge, and there have a lot of people, I think, speaking after this weekend about Castlelyons and this performance this evening.
A blistering first half, score after score, including that outstanding goal from Colin Spillane. But they've shown defensively they've been dominant in this game. And now they've just got this final quarter, as we'll call it, after the water break in the second half to see this through. And as we mentioned, not alone if they win it, but if they win it in the style that they are doing so at the moment, this would be a statement victory. It
would be a statement, and I suppose it's also a statement from the manager of Castlelyons, Kieran McGann, who a lot of people know his dad, Kieran, as well. Is usually involved in the GA, both at inter-county level and at local level in East Cork. And then John Crowley, formerly of SARS, who's a very good coach. Would have been involved with SARS when they won one of the first counties with a very young team. Castlelyons are playing with a nice bit of style and a good bit of I suppose composure this evening as well, and I think you can see both John Crowley and Cian McGann's hands all over this team.
And regardless of how this goes to the final whistle, as we said, there's a 3-week break to come after that, so it's plenty of time for the management, for the players to reflect on whatever the final result will be here. But the final games to come for Blarney, it will be against Blackrock, and for Castlelyons it will be against Inniscarra. But Castlelyons, if they do get the victory here, will be sitting proudly top of this table, and certainly a sight to watch.
Yeah, and there's a full-time score coming in. Watergrass Hill 217, Ballinhassig 114, and a current score from the Premier Intermediate Hurling Championship. 26 minutes gone. Courses 10, Youghal 2-8.
Colm Spillane, we're right behind that one. Oh, it's tight.
I think if there was Hawkeye here today, Des, I think that went left and wide, to be honest about it. But I think the influence of the Castlelyons subs bench had a big bearing in that. But that certainly didn't look like it was over the bar from here.
Yeah, convincing the umpire, I think that one was in, but that was tight. Maybe looked a little bit to the edge, left and wide. Yeah, but given.
Yeah, that's twice during the water break. The Castlelyons got a goal in the first water break, and they got a point straight after the water break. So that may be something that they're working on to get back into the game straight away after the water break.
Tom Carroll couldn't quite rise it. Here's Niall O'Leary. Bats it away. Good block. Castlelyons struggling to get out with it though, and here's an opportunity. Paddy Power takes his point. Just wondered for a moment if he might have thought of going for a goal.
Yeah, and I suppose like if you're trying to win the game, and I suppose it's probably too early to talk about scoring differences and scoring averages at the moment. But you know, the last game in all the championships is going to be interesting because scoring difference is going to decide for some of the groups whether you go up in the championship, whether you're out of it, or whether you're actually in the relegation playoff. Breaking
ball was won by Alan McAvoy. Here's Patrick Crowley. Ray Murphy, another substitute into the action for Blarney. In a tangle of legs, and Jamie O'Leary penalised.
Yeah, it was a correct decision by the referee. You know, Shane Barrett was out in front of the man and was just about to catch it, and I suppose there was a tangle, nothing major in it, but it was a free in.
And that should bring a point for Paddy Power.
And a much needed score, isn't it? I suppose it'll be a green flag is what Blarney will need at this moment in time, to see themselves back, try and get back into this game.
117 to 12 points we make it now.
But you still have the Castlelyons mentors are driving and the supporters are driving on their team not to take their eye out of the ball and to finish out this game.
Jack Barry gets plenty on that. What breeze there is assisting Castlelyons, and Jack Barry. That went just too far in advance. Picked up by Alan McAvoy. Once again, the Castlelyons pressure is there. There's always a man in the face of a Blarney man in possession. And certainly a goal is what Blarney need. Patrick Crowley's charge halted.
Yeah, and it was, you know, a great collection from Patrick Crowley and great pressure applied there by Owen May in the middle of the field for Castlelyons. Has conceded the free, but I mean, you know, it's still between the 265s. It'll give Mark Coleman, he should, player of Mark's quality, should probably score this. But I mean, it's really a goal that Blarney will need if they're to get back and get a result here this evening.
Left and wide for Mark Coleman. That's one left behind.
Yeah, and it's just one of those nights. I think Blarney will probably feel themselves that they've had an off night now, and they're definitely way better than what they're playing tonight, Des. But that happens in championship matches, Des.
Getting to the point where Blarney might have to start thinking about goals here. They've certainly got the firepower. They need the service though. They need good ball into that forward line. There's been a stream of good ball coming in for the Castlelyons forwards and for those even further out the pitch. And that is Owen May, who adds his name to the score sheet.
Yeah, and again, you'll be talking about playing one match after one week after the other. I mean, Glen had a serious victory last weekend, and then I suppose were put to the pin of the collar by Carrick-Toole down in Cove this evening.
Leon Ducey still scrapping for it. You can hear the encouragement from the Castlelyons sideline. That's his opposite number, Ray Murphy, who manages to work it forward, not very far though, and Colm O'Neill drives one down into the corner. James Carney on the move. Alan McAvoy gets there first though, uses his goalkeeper Hallisey. Very calmly done. Only 2 men converging on him. Very patient work from the Blarney goalkeeper. And now, long ball in towards Hannon. Powers in there as well, but neither one of them can get it up on their stick. Niall O'Leary doing his best for Castlelyons, a real ruck. And still struggling to clear this ball, and eventually there's a shove from Shane Barrett, and that will relieve the pressure.
I think that's Barry Murphy, who's named at number 12 and who's picking up the ball back in his own 14-yard line. That'll tell you the work rate that is coming from the Castlelyons players all over the field.
Blarney 12 points, Castlelyons 118. 9-point advantage for Castlelyons. And coming in is Ronan O'Regan, who had a spell as a blood slub earlier. A loose ball inside there and pulled on by Colm Spillane. Blarney survive. And if they going to concede a goal there, that surely would be it all over. And any chance gone for Blarney. As it is, they're still in this game, but they need some big scores and they need them quickly. Ray Murphy. Back with his fellow substitute Barrow O'Connell. That's in towards Hannon, beaten down by Colm Barry. Experience against youth in there. Colm Barry knows to a T how to play that full-back position. And perhaps a point on the way here for Blarney. And that one's going across the face of goal and wide.
Yeah. And you know, again, you know, Jack Barry in the goals for Castlelyons, I don't think has had one shot to save this evening, Des, which is a great testament to the man in front of him, Colm Barry, and both Tom Carroll in one corner and Jamie O'Leary. I mean, a very dogged full back line there. Castlelyons look like they're giving a serious performance this evening. Look, maybe this is a wake-up call for Blarney as well, Des. Like, they were flying high, great victory last weekend against Inniscarra in a local derby and stuff like that. And you know, when you have a big win like that in the first round against, you know, and the whole year was probably geared towards the first round, and you get the victory, then kind of feel, oh God, you know, that's great, and it's maybe easy, but you know, championship isn't easy. That's the bottom line, and they'll be learning. I think Blarney will learn a harsh lesson this evening that you need to be mentally and physically ready for the challenge. You know, their form was excellent coming into the match. Last year, you go back to their form against Father O'Neill's, who, you know, got to the All-Ireland, won the Munster campaign, got to the All-Ireland final, beaten by Tullaroan, and Blarney had a fantastic performance last year against them. But look, you know, up to last weekend, I suppose you would say that Blarney were in great shape. But tonight, I think they've learned a harsh lesson about, you know, being there, you know, for championship, and you know, they've come up against a really good, well-oiled machine tonight in Castlelyons.
Michael Spillane has succumbed to injury, but he's done the damage already with frees and scores some open play. Colm Spillane, he's put on an exhibition of point scoring again.
Yeah, he's been incredible now. You know, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. But like, you know, there was a great puck out from Jack Barry in the goals and found him in space.
Leon Ducey, big performance off the bench. It's been a 1 to 15, 1 to 18 with 3 subs on performance, 4 on now. Coming looking for more. This one from Anthony Spillane, left and wide. Valley Rovers succumbing to defeat today. That's 2 defeats for them in Group 2. Beaten by Ballincollig. And Watergrass Hill, I think, beat Ballinhassig. So that's 2 wins out of 2 for Watergrass Hill in that group.
Yeah, again, you know, a lot of the Watergrass Hill players are involved with Imikilly as well, and this is a byproduct. And I suppose one of the big things, I suppose, you know, potentially will be, you know, Imikilly are out again now in a fortnight's time, and you know, the likes of the Watergrass Hill players and the Castlelyons players, you know, they're going to have a busy schedule, but you know, you will be expecting that the club will release their players to play for Imikilly. Imikilly have been fantastic servants to all clubs in East Cork, so I would expect that you know, the form that has been shown at club level will be replicated on the Imikilly side.
I think that free from Paulie Power sums up Blarney's day. Looked fairly routine, but he put it wide. I think for Imikilly as well, the carrot dangled of can you go 4 in a row now after 3 in a row last year, equalled that Bar's side of the early 80s.
Yeah, it's massive, and I suppose it's how you're going to be able to deal with the pandemic, I suppose, and the fact that the Immaculate squad haven't been together, they haven't been able to get together, and I think that's good management down to Kieran Cronin and his selectors for just saying to the players, look, walk away with your clubs, and we'll see you when we're playing championship. So it's a bit like a UCC or a CIT team does now. They're probably just getting together on the night of championship. There won't be any training or any challenge matches being played because all the players are tied up with their clubs.
25 minutes gone, second half. The horse looks like it's truly bolted, and any chance of a comeback from Blarney, we're just not seeing it. They haven't had those periods of pressure, Mark, where you think there might be a comeback in them.
No, they're not getting on enough ball, not enough quality ball coming into the forward line. There's no service whatsoever, to be honest with it. Midfield and half-back in the main have been totally outplayed by the Castlelyons players.
Castlelyons have been a joy to watch today. The spine of that side is so strong, but all those working around them as well. There's been some huge performances. It's Mark Coleman with the hand pass out to Paddy Power. It's been well shackled today, Paddy Power. Big switch all the way across to Patrick Crowley. Excellent ball from Power. Had the vision and the ability to execute. And Patrick Crowley still going. Is this the goal opportunity that they need? And Castlelyons with so many defenders back there, making sure if they were going to get a shot on goal, it would be hard earned. And in the end they didn't, and the clearance comes in from Keith O'Leary. Picked up by Peter Philpott, and now Ray Murphy.
But
neither one thing nor the other from Ray Murphy.
55 minutes into the game, you see the first run forward from Mark Coleman. I probably would be expecting Mark to be driving that Blarney defence and midfield forward for his team. He's hurled well within himself. But I suppose you just expect a little bit more, I suppose, from your inter-county player. When you see the return of what Colm Spillane is giving, I think something around 1-4, 1-5 from centre forward tonight, I just would be expecting slightly a little bit more for him.
Owen May coming off, big shift that he put in that midfield, all around the middle of the pitch and all over the pitch. Owen May, he's been replaced by Brian Carroll for the last few minutes here. 26, almost 27 second half minutes gone.
And again, we're seeing more of what we said about the Castlelyons forward line. They're hassling the Blarney backs, putting them under pressure, making it look. And what we've seen here now is the ball has been turned over. That's fantastic play, well coached, well managed team in Castlelyons here. I haven't seen that from a team in a long time with that level of determination coming from the forwards.
Half time, we can give you Courcey Rovers 1-11, Youghal 2-9. That's a 1 point advantage for Youghal at half time in that one. But it's the basics of the game. If you've got the basics of the game there, the work rate, the efforts, and just the whole team ethic coming into it, and Castlelyons have had all of that today. If you've got that, then you've got every chance in every game you play.
And you sprinkle that in then with the quality of player that you have, the likes of your Colm Barry's a full back, your Niall O'Leary centre back. Leo Sexton has been outstanding at wing back as well. And then up front, Anthony Spillane has been on fire. And on another occasion, I think Anthony Spillane could have 3 goals scored this evening. Leon Ducey has made a great contribution coming off the bench as well. And I think, the wing back Colm O'Neill has impressed me this evening. He done all the basics right. High balls coming down. He's just batting him down to his midfielders and half forwards coming back. So overall, I think Castlelyons will be thrilled with their performance this evening.
Ronan O'Regan, the substitute, is the man who's down, and some concern for him at the moment. Over on that far side.
Yeah, he's in some distress, as I would say. It doesn't look like he's going to be coming back on, I would expect. He's been treated by the medic at the moment, and John Crowley, the coach of Castlelyons, is going over to see just how bad he is. But there isn't a whole pile of time left in the game, and more than likely they'll probably bring on a sub that they've already taken off because they want to be using a player, for their second squad and stuff like that. So we'll have to wait and see how serious it is. But look, it's probably just a twisted knee or a twisted ankle or something like that.
A couple of players warming up down to our left hand side. Cian O'Leary. Down to our right is the man who went off in the first half, which was Alan Fenton. Not quite sure if he's just going through a stretch maybe on the injury that he picked up in that first half. But looking ahead to the final game of the group for each of these two, Blarney will have to bounce back and respond now against Blackrock second string, and for Castlelyons they'll go in against Inniscarra.
Yeah, and like I suppose you would probably be expecting both teams to win it. Like Castlelyons have put the best foot forward this evening. They've got the 4 points on the board. They will be expecting to top the group nowadays. They will be expected to beat Enniscorthy because Blarney had an easy victory over them last weekend. So I'd expect Castlelyons to finish on 6 points, and then you're in a situation where Blarney would probably have to win next weekend as well, just to make sure that they qualify for the latter stages of the championship. But they will be disappointed with the performance tonight. But the beauty of the championship is that they're not out of it. They know exactly what to do, and they're going to get a 3-week break now. Gather their thoughts and get back to the training field, and they'll probably review the video and stuff for that and see where the mistakes that went on today and how they're going to correct them.
Yeah, Cian O'Leary, the man who's come on, but only after he was reminded that he had to wear his helmet. Almost a throwback to the old days there. Lovely take that from Keith Costello, stepping this way and that, but Tom Carroll is all over him. Experienced cornerback. Paddy Power. And Castlelyons, they're clever enough and experienced enough back there to know that once we prevent a goal, we'll give you a point if you want it, but we won't give you a goal.
All the experience in the world there from Colin Barry, making sure he wasn't going to be giving Paddy Power any easy opportunity, had him held, and a correct decision by the referee Alan O'Connor to give a free. Blarney have brought up Mark Coleman now to try and get a goal. Be hoping that he will zing this in now, and there's a very strong sun straight in the eyes of the players, straight in Jack Barrett. You can see it from the players that they're putting the hurley up, so keep it on target is the key here now.
6 on the line. Tom Carroll steps away to make it 5. Coleman goes low, and Jack Barry right behind it. Castlelyons goalkeepers had precious little to deal with today. Works it away, and Leo Sexton, certainly one of those contenders for man of the match today, launches a huge ball downfield. Alan McAvoy gets it at the second time of asking. Blarney, at least, if they're not going to win this game, will be looking for a strong finish, so they'll have some positives to take away. But having got the first score of the game through Paddy Power, and started looking like they meant business, but Castlelyons soon took over. And a really, really good first half in terms of the scores they took, the spread of scores as well. Set them up for this most impressive victory as we close in towards the full-time whistle now. 31.5 second half minutes gone. Dan Quill, who's come on for the last few minutes for Blarney, is the man who's fouled.
Yeah, and there's, I suppose, a huge a number of players out in the middle of the field here, and I suppose, Blarney, I suppose, will be disappointed, and the game has gone away from them now at this moment in time. But Castlelyons are going to see out the game and going to win the game handsomely, and full value for the victory. Yeah, Mark Coleman has knocked the ball over the bar.
It moves Blarney on to 13 points. Unlucky for some, but it's not been a case of it being an unlucky day for them. Castlelyons just too good in almost all areas of the pitch. Huge win against Blackrock as they pulled away really impressively the longer that game went on, and that's one on the top of the head. And it's kicking off now. It was Alan McAvoy on Colm Spillane.
It was just a small bit mistimed and stuff for that, and there's nothing really in it, and there's no need for Colm Spillane to be getting involved in that now. Yes, he got a blow, but it was accidental. There was nothing malicious in it from the Blarney player at all, and there's just no need to be getting involved in this, and it's probably forcing the referee into a situation now that he might have to send off the player. But I think it was more mistimed than anything. There was nothing malicious in it. And Colm is a tough man. He's an inter-county player, and he'll be fine after it. And the game is nearly over. There's no need to. But look, he's under pressure now, the referee, to see what's going to happen here. Now he's just under pressure, but by the letter of the law, it's probably a red card. But I think there's missed time. Yeah, you give me yellow.
Yellow for Alan McAvoy. That's all that was going on. Kieran McGann, the Castlelyons manager, was just calling these players to keep their focus for the last few minutes. The last thing they would want off the back of a hugely impressive performance here is anyone to be red carded, suspended.
No, and just the game is over. There was nothing in it, but it's how easy the things can develop there all of a sudden, But the game has been played in a great sporting fashion, and the referee, in fairness, has had good control in the game all over, and that's just something late in the game that's totally mistimed.
And punished as the free is sent sailing over by Keith O'Leary. Leon Ducey just over his head. Patrick Crowley. With the encouragement from the Castlelyons line down below us has been incessant. And cheering everything, just the basics of the game, the hustling, the harrying.
Yeah, well, and the game is nearly over. We're nearly 5 minutes into extra time at this moment in time, and the Castlelyons management are still urging their players and wanting them to compete for every ball, and they're winning every 50-50 ball, even the balls that are slightly gone over the line. They're fighting tooth and nail, and this seems to be a well-oiled machine at this moment in time. But the management and the players for Castlelyons.
Leo Sexton, and given the game he's had, you wouldn't begrudge him a shot from that distance.
No, he deserves a shot at goals. To be honest with it, he has been outstanding for the whole game. He's in great condition, and I suppose if the McKilly selectors were looking for a half-back, because the likes of Kieran O'Brien from St. Edith's has recovering from a cruciate ligament.
Here goes Shane Barrett. Can they finish at least with a positive score here? This way and that, upended. As we said earlier, Castlelyons knowing a point won't do any damage at this stage. Just don't want to give Blarney a goal. Want to keep them shut out in that regard. 13 points to 120.
No, they won't want to concede a goal, and I think Matt Coleman will probably step up again and see if he can get a goal from this one. And we could do his confidence and power of good if he can get a goal from it. But the game is petering out, I suppose, in the overall context of things. There's, Castlelyons were well in control, kind of 10 minutes into the second half, and that goal that Blarney, would have wanted to get it early on to give him a lifeline to put that fire into the veins, which was sadly missing this evening, just never materialised.
This would put a little bit of a gloss on the scoreboard for Blarney if he could find the net here. Mark Coleman. In the end, they've been comprehensively beaten as Coleman puts it up and over the bar.
Yeah, fantastic.
36, almost 36 and a half second half minutes gone, so not much left now. Our coverage today, and as always, brought to you by Coop Superstores. Delighted to have Dairy Gold on board with us this year. And for Castlelyons, it is a real delight here. This is a huge victory for them, and one that certainly the other teams in this divisions will and this grade will be sitting up to take note of. Colin Barry retreating, just couldn't hold it. They still can't put the ball in the net. Blarney pulled on first time on the ground by Power. Barrett's in there as well. And eventually, is it over the line? It looks like they've managed to bundle it over. And sheer persistence. Not quite sure was Barrett's the final touch or Power was in there as well.
I know the Keith Costello might have got the ball over the line in the end, Des. I suppose, look, for perseverance is fantastic there. But I'm a bit surprised that we're 37 minutes into the second half. There was only a minute for their walker back. We've had no injuries. So I think the referee, I don't know where he's getting the 7 minutes from, but, it's the way it goes.
You mentioned scoring difference as well, so that goal for Blarney in the end will be a big positive.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be a big positive there for them.
So we'll take a quick pause here and we'll be back with analysis of that game in a few minutes' time. Welcome back to Mourneabbey, and we are reflecting in the company of Mark Landers on a huge win there for Castlelyons. Well, in the end it was 6 points, but it felt like a lot more than that.
Yeah, 6 points, and I suppose Blarney got a goal with the last puck of the game there as well. I suppose 120 to about 14 points is the real score this evening, but a really strong statement sent out by Castlelyons this evening. They were outstanding from the get-go, even though the Paddy Power got the first point for Blarney. They never ignited. They'll be really disappointed with their performance overall, because they are the favourites for the Premier Intermediate Championship at the moment. But I think we'll see a flip-flop on that this evening, because I thought Castlelyons were outstanding, from Jack Barry in goals, Colin Barry at fullback was unbeatable, and then you had Niall O'Leary and Leo Sexton in the middle of the field, and up front the three Spillans. But in particular, I suppose Colin Spillan at centre forward, I think 1-5, and Anthony Spillan was outstanding full forward. Three goal opportunities, which is the big thing what you want from your forwards. But I think Paul Hallisey was probably the most overworked player this evening for Blarney, and I suppose in the overall context of things, a really, really positive performance from Castlelyons.
And this Colm Spillane situation is intriguing. Centre forward 2 weeks in a row now. A man we know better, of course, as being a really good defender. Won 7 last week. I think we'd him up to 1-6 in this game as well. Got that goal. At one point, I was looking in the first half, Blarney had it back to 7 points to 5, but they really just kicked on from that point. Castlelyons got a point, then got the goal. 1-11-7 at half time. Never looked back.
I suppose the big thing is that Colm Spillane is back playing. He missed out of all of last year, and it was a big loss from a Cork point of view as well. He's a fantastic cornerback for the Cork seniors, but the big thing is that he's back playing, Des, and to put 2 performances together, 2 weekends, 1-7, 1-6 is outstanding as well. And particularly, I suppose tonight that he probably marked Mark Coleman for 40 minutes of the game as well. That was very, very good. But the overall thing is that Castlelyons, under the tuition of Kieran McGann as the manager and Johnny Crowley, look really, really impressive this evening. And
talking to Kieran yesterday, he was talking about those Blarney forwards, and in particular the young trio of Decky Hannon, Shane Barrett and Paddy Power, and he said, look, these are supremely talented young hurlers. He said, we'll hopefully, for the sake of Cork going forward, the Cork seniors, these lads will have huge careers. It was up to him to stop them today, and whatever way they set it up, the players in the right positions, they had experience back there, and Colin Barry, Niall O'Leary and others, and they got the job done there. We didn't see a whole lot, maybe Shane Barrett in glimpses, but not a whole lot of those three.
No, but I mean, you can't underestimate the experience that some of those Castlelyons players are getting from being involved with McKilly. I think in particular Tom Carroll, and then Leo Sexton and Jamie O'Leary, wouldn't be getting the amount of limelight that we said the likes of Niall O'Leary and Colin Barry would be getting, but they're very, very good players. And Keith O'Leary in the middle of the field as well, he had an outstanding performance as well. And it was credit down to Castlelyons that they actually decided that when Mark Coleman went back wing back, that they put him in at wing forward, and so they had Castlelyons had their homework done tonight, Des. But in the overall context, the big thing is that the team has 2 wins in a row now. They're looking forward to trying to top the group, and if they can top their group, Des, I think they're guaranteed a semi-final spot in the championship, which is what they will be looking for.
And the feeling is that this might be their year. There's young players coming through and maturing now, the guys in their mid-20s. From Blarney's point of view, I mean, it'd be foolish to write them off, and we certainly won't do so. This is a side that, ran Father O'Neill's, the ultimate winners, very close in the semi-finals last year.
I just think that Blarney had an off day today. They're way better than what we saw tonight, but sometimes you just don't get into it for some reason. We don't know how the training went during the week. I do think the fact that their full season, I suppose the full focus of the season was on the first round against Inniscarra because it was a local derby, and the fact that they actually had a very, very comprehensive victory. Maybe they took their eye off of the ball, and I suppose tonight they came up against a team that were really driven, but I wouldn't write off Blarney at all. There's too much quality in their team, and I think they'll bounce back. And the big thing for them is that they have 3 weeks now to get themselves together, Yeah,
what a performance. We've really enjoyed it today, and in particular that performance from Castlelyons. 3-20 against Blackrock in their opener, 1-20 here against the favourites, or at least they were the favourites ahead of this game for this championship, Blarney. But maybe the tables have turned. We want to say thanks as well to our hosts today, Clyde Rovers, a magnificent pitch here in Mourneabbey, and thanks to them for accommodating us, coming to you again in association with Coop Superstores and Dairy Gold on board this year. For Mark Landers and myself, thanks for watching. Of course, we've more action coming up on the Examiner website. Massive game coming up between SARS and Douglas in the senior grade. But from us all here at the moment in Mourneabbey, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.